This is John Guzman with ProTraderLeague.com. This is going to be a new video series we're going to be doing once a week to kind of go back and touch over a couple of the trades I made and why I made them. If you guys have viewed the 10-part video series, it's now available. You guys will know a little bit more in depth on exactly what I'm doing and why. But to touch on a few stocks, we're going to start with Dixon. For you guys that don't know, I swing trade and I use technical indicators. Um, there's a whole bunch of indicators out there, and I went through all of them in a 10-part video series, but the ones I use the most I have set here on the screen. We've got obviously the trend lines, the support and the resistance. These I drew in, and I draw in on any play I'm looking at. And I'll extend these out over the time progresses in order to make sure that we're staying within a certain channel, or if we break out to something new, I'll sit back and let it develop a few support and resistant pivot points and then kind of go from there. As far as volume is something that I watch pretty keenly, and I use stochastics. I use fast, set at 3, 3, 14, and 14. And those are the three main indicators I use. Now I will use a couple other ones, MACD, some EMAs, but for the particular two trades that I'm going to go over tonight, the indicators that I was watching were the ones I just mentioned. So to start with Dixon, of course we fell, and if you guys were following my alerts from last week, you know we hit this a couple times. But here's the new channel that was established back on the middle of this month, and this is where we stopped out on Friday. Now, I didn't get in here. Obviously, we fell. The new channel is developing, so we've tested this lower support a couple times, and so that gave me a good lower support. And then we came up here and we tested this up here a couple times, and so this is where we got a confirmed channel here. 2 times down below, a couple times up top. So where I came in and made the trades, we're going to be back on around the 20th, and then again 24th. And I sold Friday, so it was a pretty good trade for a couple days. I believe it was close to 7%, 7-8%. So typical trade of mine, 3 to 6 days, 7 to 10%. What we saw here is we came down. And normally I would buy on this support, but I believe, and I'd have to look at my trade history, I believe I took a trade here, but ideally the trade was the one I took last week. That's where we came down, showed on the 23rd, we came close to that support or resistance, held, fell all the way back down, dipped a little bit below the support, but we came back and held. So this is where I made the trade here. And what backed up this trade was the higher volume, as well as the reversal of the stochastics. And as you can see, we had a nice reversal, a pop in volume, and a 3-day rally. And so that the whole 3 days we had good width on the stochastics, a good trend, and it was a solid play. But again, ideally this was the entry which we took, and if you took it with me, you guys made some quick money in a short period of time. Another trade that we took last week that you guys have seen me hit time and time again over the years, and you can see why. I mean, I've got this thing has been channeling great for months, but to scale it in, this was this week, and I know I hit it back in the end of October, and then I've hit it 2 or 3 times since. But the big one we made this week was off this lower channel, and as you can see, it's held this channel really well between the support and the resistance. And anytime we bought on this lower channel, we made money. And again, we did it this week, backed up by both the stochastics, a spike in volume, and as well as a hold on this lower support. And so another ideal trade, sideways channel, backed up by a couple different technical indicators, proved to be a perfect play. Now, I got out before this thing completely made its. We got out here probably on the 24th or the 5th. If I'd have held a little longer, it actually broke above that support, or excuse me, resistance. But as most of you guys know, I played within the channel and that's it. I took my profits here and got out. Yeah, it popped up above last Friday. I believe it gained 10%, which was fine. But before that, anyways, we got, well over 10%. And so, I mean, if you bought down here around the twos on the 17th or the 18th, you could have sold close to 250 6 days later, which is well over 20%. I didn't quite book that much because I bought a little bit above once it proved a hold. I might have got it the day or two after. Of course, was present for the monster rally on the 24th, 24th or 5th. And so, but this just gives you an idea of what I'm looking at. This thing goes all the way back into this particular channel, and we've been hitting it since the end of 2014, and we've hit it all this year multiple times. It's provided great moves. Like any channel, it may take a little bit of time to set up, but over a 6-month period, this thing could have been hit 4 times for 10-20% easily. And so it's all about just being patient and waiting for these setups to come around. And so, Intex is still on my list to watch, and I would come in here and draw these out on my eSignal, which is the charting software I use. And if we stay within this channel, possibly would look to take a short here just to ride it back down if it goes back below and fails to hold the breakout. But 9 times out of 10, I'm just going to throw this stock to the side, put an alert somewhere around the 220 area, and let this thing trim back down. If it takes a week, a month, that's fine. It's in my broker as an alert, and I'll just go on to the next play to hit something that is ready. But just a couple plays we hit last week to kind of give you guys an idea on what exactly I'm looking at, what indicators I'm backing it up with. And this is going to be pretty much the same strategy that I'm going to employ on all my trades. I mean, I'm a channel trader, and that's what I do. And I like to take calculated risk, and not playing for breakouts. I'm not playing for, if a stock's lost a ton, I'm not looking for a rebound. I'm looking for channels. And so that's what I've used. I've been trading for 15 years, but I've probably been channel trading the last 9. And it's by far the most reliable and profitable year in, year out. It may not deliver 20-30% of trade, but I know I can get a solid 7 to 10, and I can do that consistently month after month after month. I believe my trade history shows that. And so you guys may want to start trying to search for some of these setups on your own to kind of help better familiarize you with what my strategy is and what it is I'm looking for. So we'll catch back up with you guys next weekend to go over a few trades from this coming week.